In today's food adventures, I'm testing my food fighting might against a barbecue ribs challenge, where the need for speed is the name of the game. But there were plenty of adventures to be had before embarking on this battle. Unfortunately, we were dealing with a little bit of weather here.
Oh, horrible death. You went under a truck.
Beautiful weather today. There's Magic Mitch or Michelangelo.
And when I say we, I mean the big man himself, Randy Santel, and one of Australia's finest national treasures, Jamie Miller, aka Lemon Blossom. But regardless of the weather, we made the most of it, starting off the day by actually going to a different restaurant to double check and make sure that they still offered their challenge, which we would be trying in a day or two.
Did you guys find out?
We're fine.
Oh yeah?
So you just walk in and do it.
It's a walk-in. When I did it, I just started. Well, the Newcastle Herald sent me a challenge to come here, the newspaper. I did it with Colin Conqueror. He came here, he was in town, he did it.
After conquering women, you decided to conquer.
Switched to burgers. They put a full-page picture in the paper. They wrote a story about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're going to do this, so we're going to do 30 schooners of beer.
3 kilos of chicken wings.
And that's just another example of why it's always a great time when Jamie is around. Sure, there might be some context missing here, but I think you can get the idea that he definitely knows how to get a laugh out of you, and he's just always enjoyable to be around. And just to clarify, since I did notice some of the comments in the previous videos, yes, Jamie is a food fighter, but there is so much more to him that makes him an absolute legend, which I'll be featuring some of these highlights and fun facts as the trip progresses. So after we confirmed that the challenge was still available, we moved on and went to a place where temptation would be at an all-time high, because this place is where the fat kid inside me would be enticed to no end. And the place I'm talking about is known as Jim's Delights. And let me tell you, there were some delights to be had here. I'm talking all kinds of sweet treats, ready for you to get your fix. And speaking of getting their fix,
you are busted!
But like I said, all kinds of goodies here. We're talking handcrafted treats, candy bars, and even ice cream. Which, by the way, I had it on good authority. They had pretty good milkshakes here. In fact, if I didn't try one, I'd regret it. And that's all it took to convince me. And not gonna lie here, I did feel a little bit guilty getting a Snickers milkshake. And you know what? It was totally worth it. It was so good. It was on the creamier side of things with chocolate and caramel, but it also had a bit of peanut butter in it, which was kind of a surprise. But regardless if that's what its name should be or not, I'm just gonna call this thing divine, because that's what it was. The next stop was at a giant shopping mall in the area, and while we were there, we were bouncing from store to store, checking things out, and just having a good old time.
Looks solid. What you doing, Randy?
I am trying to
Come up with an
keep
excuse?
this trip together.
Also, now that I had my full fat kid mode unlocked with that milkshake, my eyes seemed to be drawn to these desserts that we passed by several times. But I was able to stay strong and avoid this temptation, especially with knowing that it was probably not going to be better than that milkshake I had. Then for our final adventure of exploration, Lemon took us to a local zoo. And being in Australia, you know I had to scope out some of the key targets here, including koala bears, wombats, kangaroos, and wallabies. And overall, it was a pretty cool experience, especially in the open area with some of the birds, where they could perch up right next to you on the ledge. Then once we concluded with those adventures, it was time for the main event. So I gathered my things needed for this upcoming battle, and we were on our way. Now before we get to the restaurant, let's check in with the big man and get his thoughts on the upcoming challenge. Excuse me, Mr. Atlas, do you have any thoughts or comments about tonight's challenge? Okay, so clearly he's deep in thought here. He must be getting himself focused and in the zone. And since he didn't answer any of my questions, I have one for you, and that is, where do you think I'll end up on the challenge leaderboard? Huh? Leaderboard? Yep, that's right. Here at Adam's Ribs and Pizza, they keep a leaderboard of the fastest times from individuals who finished the challenge. Also, they have a Mexican zebra named Chavo, which is pretty dope. And that's everything I need to know, that this is a place I can certainly vibe with. So with that good energy, I got myself situated for the battle at hand. And the battle is on. as I'm taking on the Zeus Rack Rib Challenge at Adam's Ribs and Pizza in Adamstown, New South Wales of Australia. And for this challenge, you have a half rack of ribs and a large portion of their chips. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but the thing is, you don't have a lot of time to finish it, because with this challenge is only a 10-minute time limit, and if you fail, you'll have to fork over 40 Australian dollars. But if you can complete the challenge, you get the meal for free, a free shirt, and you also have your name enshrined on their leaderboard. So first thing to note, I'm pretty sure that this is my first ever challenge with barbecue ribs. And also, just generally speaking, I had a lot of fun with this challenge just because it's a little bit different. And you know I'm a huge fan of food challenges that are just a little bit on the different side. And in this case, not only is this challenge a little different than your average burger, pizza, or burritos you might come across, but also instead of size, speed is what matters here. Similar to eating wings, it's more of a skill-based food, where the technique you use could save you a lot of time. Personally, my technique was pretty simple. Just get your hands on a piece of meat and go to town.
Hey, Magic Mitch! Yeah! Woo! Woo!
Do you think he's gonna win?
Oh, mate, he'll flog you.
Now, I only had two main thoughts when it came to this challenge. Number one, I hope these ribs don't suck. And number two, I really hope that these fries don't suck, because there's a whole tray of them underneath the ribs. And with that being said, I'll just say that I now understand why it's called House of Ribs and not House of some other type of food, because these ribs were awesome, which is actually saying something here, because just a little FYI, and to make a long story short, there was a small communication error, and my challenge was made much sooner than it should have been, so it actually had been sitting under a heat lamp for some time. But these ribs were still very savory and tender, and the balance of the sauce and the char in it really made these ribs an absolute treat, and also made my job here a whole lot easier, as I continued to grab a bone, eat the meat, then rinse and repeat. I'm rocking a good pace here, not wasting time, finishing with those ribs, then moving on to the fries, which I did have some concern about at first, but once I copped a feel before shoving them into my mouth, I had a good feeling, because the fact is, these were not the cookie cutter, Jane Plain type of fries that I not so secretly describe when I say fries are fries. And while there wasn't much to them, they were just simply good, softer but not soggy, lightly salted, and I'm guessing that they must have retained a decent amount of moisture, because these fries were going down like nothing. I even surprised myself a little here.
Don't laugh at that, it encourages him.
And of course, you've got the big man trying to be a buzzkill here, but that's okay. I'm just gonna keep on chomping away at this thing, bite after bite, until this food monstrosity is no more. And there we go. What a fun and great tasting food adventure. Now, while I didn't have the top spot on the leaderboard, I was gonna make sure I would be the first person to finish this challenge and then follow it up with push-ups. But this time, there's a twist, because there were a couple of ladies who wanted in on the action.
Give it up. Yeah. Countdown.
I'm going 5 tops.
What's the countdown?
Good. Oh, she's already winning. There you go. That's it. That's impressive.
Am I helping you in any way?
Oh, it's helping.
There we go.
He's doing well.
This is my push.
Yeah, no, I can do it. Push, push, push.
That's all I got.
Oh, my slacker riding a bull. Go, back. Woo. Go back, back, back. Oh. The bull's out.
He's a goner.
Oh.
If you don't critique your form.
Oh, that was easy. Now I feel real fat, eh? Oh, yeah, right.
Now he's showing off.
One hand. Well, you're sitting also, you're sitting.
Yeah, you're sitting on his core. That's his weakest spot.
I know the not that needs to kill me.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I guess we'll count that as 10.
Hey!
We'll make it up tomorrow.
Okay, so not gonna lie, things got a bit wild here, but I love the energy. And to watch the next video, tap the video on the screen or click the link in the description down below, and I'll see you there.